Sunday mid-morning from Circuit of the Americas for GRIDLIFE Touring Cup. Welcome back to the Super Lap Battle Stream and GRIDLIFE Touring Cup. My name is Kyle Heyer. I'm joined by Alex Moss for race number 3 of our 4-race weekend. Alex, this morning we saw absolute entertainment out there. While we had one car finish on 3 wheels and win a drag race to the finish line for position. Wheels back on the car. We got all 31 car starters getting back out on the track now.
Yeah, we got to see all this. Some excellent battles. We got to see one of the best defensive drives that I think I've seen in amateur racing, with Jeremy fending off James there. It was really exciting, and really everything else from this weekend is going to be a bonus now.
We've had 2 fantastic races. This is race number 3, set from the finishing positions from race number 2. We'll roll through the starting lineup. On row number 1, he's 2 for 2 this weekend, the number 3 of Jeremy Swenson and the 45 of Paul Curley. Row number 2, the 82 of Eric Cattell and the 34 of Austin Hurdle. Row number 3 is the 484 of Matan Rosenberg and Lawson Crane in the 137. Row 4 is Gary Wimble in the number 1 and Matt Waldbaum in the number 90. Ronnie Vidoc and Joel Morrison share row number 5. Luke McGrew and Wes Case start 11th and 12th. James Houghton finished race 2 on 3 wheels. He starts race 3 with all 4. He starts 13th alongside Michael Hilo in the 224. Eric Jensen had a spin in the early moments of race 2. He will start 15th in this race alongside Hans Horpedal in the number 77 from Myriad Motorsports. 17th place is the 42 of Zach Lavoie, and Adam Ulrich will start alongside him in 18th. Lena Chin for ASM rolls off 19th alongside Julio Crispin in the number 911, and Michael McGinnis and Corey Mitchell are in row number 11. Row 12 is Brian Tyson nursing a Civic without a third gear. Adam Wood starts 24th in the 207 car. Andy Funston starts 25th in the number 163 alongside Dai Wynn in the 888 Subaru BRZ. Haley Myers had a clutch issue, so she will not be in this race. She was scheduled to start 27th. Carl Hurdle will start 28th in the number 93. Tyler Starr will start in 29th place alongside Jackson Jensen, and bring up the rear of the field for the start of this one is the 17 of Tony Marchev and the 212 of Andy Smedegard. This car started, well, it began to start race number 2. It rolled off the pit lane, but they heard a grinding in the diff, came back to the paddock, decided not to race that car, so presumably they fixed that issue, Alex.
Yep, when I got back to the paddock, the car was up on jack stands and new diff was already being put in. About 20 minutes later, the car was ready to go.
We also have in-car on Julio Crispin in the 911, so that'll be fun to watch. 911 number, not the 911 on track. There's no Porsches in the field this time. We have seen them in GRIDLIFE Touring Cup. For those that are new, this is a power-to-weight class. Again, we've got percentage weight modifiers for complications like aero and things of the sort, different kinds of transmissions. But what this means is that you can have a Corvette race a Honda Civic. We've seen that all week long, and I can't wait to kick off this 3rd race. These races are between 12 and 15 minutes. And here's the crux of all this. Race number 4 later today is set by the finishing order of race 3 with a random invert of the top third of the field. Jeremy Swenson's won both races so far, Alex. If he wins race number 3, he's not going to start at the front for race number 4.
Yeah, so that random invert really kind of throws a cat among the pigeons for the last race. And it stops the field from getting stale, right? Generally, the fastest cars are going to be set by the end of the weekend. We're going to have the fastest cars at the front, so by inverting a certain percentage of the front row, that first place finish is going to be sent some part back to the middle of the pack.
We also have rewards weight for finishing in the podium positions in each race. You can remove that weight if you finish 5th or lower. That means that Luke McGrew gets to remove his rewards weight, so does James Houghton in the 41, but Jeremy Swenson and Paul Curley are nearly maxed out. Jeremy's taking the maximum extra rewards weight, 7% of his original declared weight. Paul Curley is at 6%, so those Corvettes are heavily laden, even more so than they normally would be. The field racked up and stacked up for our 3rd of 4 races here this weekend at Circuit of the Americas. Swenson chooses driver's right, as he has so far this weekend, for the start of race number 3. 2x2, 15 rows deep for GLTC race number 3 of the weekend here from Circuit of the Americas. This is round 1 of 8 of the 2023 season. Field's packed up waiting for the green flag. It's going to be a late one this time. There it is. Green flag flies. We're racing in race 3 here in GRIDLIFE Touring Cup. Up the hill, 110-foot climb. We're 4 wide again in the middle of the pack here up towards turn 1.
Yeah, it looks like Paul Curley's got him on the inside line there and should exit turn 1 in the lead.
Still getting really tight and dicey there. Still 3 wide. Ooh, a little bit of a touch there in the background. I think we're all going to come out the other side okay. Look at Ronnie Vidoc to 4th place. What a climb for the 99. And Catil hounding the 2 Corvettes up front. Smedegaard side by side with Brian Tyson. Jackson Jensen trying to grab some spots as well. Corvette Civic through the S's. And look at Vidoc in that 99. The DC Sports Integra flying through the field up inside the top 5. Now James Houghton door-to-door with Austin Hurdle. That's going to be a tight fit here through turn number 7. They get it done. It looks like Houghton's going to move forward. Again, no rewards weight on this car, and it has all 4 wheels bolted to it this time. That'll be an advantage over the 3 that he had at the tail end of race 2. On board now with Julio Crispin in the 911 chasing Mike McGinnis in the 777, one of 2 all-wheel drive cars here. And Houghton, where did he come from? Back to 4th place over Vidoc into turn 11.
Yeah, James really powering through the field there. He made a push after he lost that wheel to not lose too much time.
Ooh, trouble for, it's that West Case in the 767. There is a piece of debris there as well, so you hope that was a spin and not some contact there. But we will continue up the back straightaway now. There's Luke McGrew feeling pressure from Matt Walbaum in the ASM number 90. Been chasing issues with the car all weekend. It looks good now. Here comes Hurdle, 3 wide with Lawson Crane, the meat in the sandwich now down towards turn number 12. And Joel Morrison, a top 10 result for him in race 2. Gary Wimble hunting all of them down. Where do you go? There's 2 S2000s ahead, then an M3. Not a good launch out of 12 for Crane. Here comes Morrison up the inside for 13. A great lap 1 scrap as Wimble and Eric Jensen climb into the party with their LS-powered cars through the stadium section here at COTA, Alex.
Yeah, we saw Austin Hurdle go a little bit wide out turn 12 and use that really to his advantage to get a good run on Luke and stay alongside him. And it looks like he's got ahead here going into turn 16. Lawson
Crane to the inside. This is his first weekend racing here in GRIDLIFE Touring Cup. He is getting certainly the introduction that I think he was wanting inside the top 10 here in his races so far, and hounding Austin Hurdle now for position. Matt Walbaum leaves tons of space for Matan Rosenberg. We love to see that as they now race down towards turn number 20. Swenson leads lap 1, then it's Curley, Catil, Houghton, Ronnie Vidoc, your top 5. Then it's Austin Hurdle, followed by Lawson Crane, Matan Rosenberg, Waldbaum, Morrison, Jensen, and Wimble as we come across the line. Great first lap, Alex, as we head up the hill towards 1.
Yeah, and it looks like really the first time we've seen the leader of the race be able to not check out completely, but check out a little bit up front and build a gap at the start of the race. So far, we've just seen these cars battle all the way through the race.
And he is laden with tons of weight, so I expect that car to fall off a little bit. Houghton up 10 spots on the opening lap as Waldbaum tucks in behind the 44. The 18-year-old Matan Rosenberg, followed by Waldbaum and then Joel Morrison in the bright green number 71. There's Luke McGrew. He's down the order quite a ways, surprisingly, after lap number 1. He is down into 23rd place, so he must have had an issue, a slip, a slide, or a spin, because he is not where I'd expect him to be running after just 1 lap here.
Yeah, and we saw him have a little bit of an issue right towards the end of the second race, where he went straight on at turn 11, I believe, rather than make the turn. So I wonder if he's having a reoccurrence of that issue that we saw.
Yeah, perhaps. I think he said the car sucked in some exhaust and it was doing something funky with the tune, but he claims it finished the race under power like he would expect. Lawson Crane right on the bumper of Austin Hurdle into turn 11. Ronnie Vidoc, this is only his second GRIDLIFE Touring Cup weekend in that number 99. A spin for Jensen again. Can he get it locked? He does. That's the second time he's had an oversteer spin at the exit of turn 11 here this weekend. That V8 FRS is certainly proving to be a challenge.
Yeah, I spoke with him actually between these 2 races, and he had mentioned that he's trying now to turn off traction control and drive a little bit less with the assists on. So he may be just learning that car again a little bit, not quite behaving how he's used to, and that's what we're seeing.
It makes a lot of torque for that FRS platform, but he will continue as Swenson now hits turn 15, and the battle behind him is certainly still raging on. Lawson Crane up the outside of Vidoc. Vidoc a little bit wide, trying to arc it into turn 15. Crane not going to make the move out this time here, but this battle for position, this is all for 5th place rather, as now the 34 has completed that pass on the 99. And this is going to get more interesting because Rosenberg, Waldbaum, and now Joel Morrison are still right in the mix here for that position.
Yeah, those guys are going to come onto the scene, I think, here, and we'll see them start battling these cars ahead of them.
Now into turn number 20. Here comes Jeremy Swenson, still leads about 8 car lengths over Paul Curley. Eric Cattell and James Houghton are right on top of each other, but through the final corner, Ronnie Vidoc feeling some pressure from Lawson Crane. Now it's going to be S54 versus the engine that's in this Integra, which is a 4-cylinder up the hill, and Matan Rosenberg in the slipstream as well, trying to carry some speed. He's going to look to the inside of Lawson Crane up to the hill in turn 1, use the ABS in the Corvette. A very shallow entry for the 484, as now Cattell deals with pressure from James Houghton in the K-Tune car. Very tight entry here into the S's.
Yeah, I don't think James will be able to challenge him in the S's, but closing up that gap, getting as close as he can to him before he goes down that long back straight.
Zach Lavoie losing ground to his teammate. That's the 212 car driven by Andy Smedegaard that we mentioned started from the rear. That car's up 16 positions in this race. Certainly good climb, and smoke out of the 484. That is a Matan Rosenberg. It looks like a tire rub maybe? Or is that engine?
No, that's more than that. I think that's a diff or an engine. It looks like oil now.
Oh boy. We hope it's not putting fluid down on the racetrack, but Waldbaum still following behind him would tell me otherwise. Certainly not a good look for the 484 to have that smoke coming out of the rear of the car, and there he goes off to the side, and looks like he's going to try to find a place to escape.
Yep, he's trying to find a nice safe spot where he can be out of the way and not impact the rest of this race.
So everyone continues on. There is Andy Smedegaard. He's got Michael Hilo, and there's Luke McGrew making a pass down into turn number 11 as well. So Curley, Cattell, and Houghton are 2, 3, and 4, and they have not really been able to keep touch with Swenson, who just got a great launch on that opening lap. They might be able to run him down. There's still plenty of time in this race, but he got a great start. There's a battle off into turn 12 now. Gary Wimble on Joel Morrison. That's for 10th place.
Yeah, it looks like those front cars have really started to spread out, which, again, is the first time we're seeing that this weekend. We've seen them all get bunched up and be fighting each other all through the race so far.
There's Lawson Crane on Ronnie Vidoc into turn 13. Matt Waldbaum trying to arc it in, kind of missed the apex there. Crane past the 99. Here they go into turn 14 and 15 now as we complete the stadium section this time through. Crane up into 6th place over Ronnie Vidoc. Through the carousel now, and Waldbaum has Joel Morrison following. Gary Wimble said he had his best race of the weekend in race number 2. He runs 11th right now behind Morrison. And looks like Luke McGrew's creeping into the party there in 17th on Julio Crispin. Oh, man, Morrison going defensive into 19. And Wimble not taking the bait. He won't follow him in there.
Yeah, Joel Morrison took a very tight line through 13, really up on that inside sausage curb, which really gave him the best line down into 20.
Down the front stretch now, everyone kind of line astern, following into slipstream on these long straightaways. The highest power car in the field makes about 260, the lowest power about 190, so a 70 horsepower spread. There's Smedegaard past Hort, but all that is for 13th position as Smedegaard moves up the field in a car that was in pieces about, 16 months ago, not even?
Yep, that was a new build for last season. Tom drove that most of last year and drove it to the championship pretty, I don't want to say comfortably, it's never a comfortable win, but it was a pretty dominant season for him.
3 S2000s trailing through the S's. There's a car we haven't talked about a lot this weekend, that red Honda Civic Type R. That is a World Challenge TC car that has been detuned to fit the regulations. Carl Hurdle and HMA Racing typically bring a Honda Odyssey minivan set up to GLTC rules. They had a transmission failure on that before this event. They were going to run then their Acura MDX. They thought, okay, we might get crushed if we bring that. It was roll cage and ready to go, but they did bring the Civic Type R, and it looks like he's having a pretty fun race. Here's Wimble on Morrison down into turn 11.
Yeah, it really just shows that you can race anything in this series and have a chance at being at least competitive for mid-pack type stuff.
Now down the long straightaway, that green S2000. This gap should, well, I thought it might close, but again, that engine in the S2000 is not the F-Series engine nor the K-Series engine. That is a J-Series V6, which I think is out of a Honda Odyssey in this particular car. As he heads down the straightaway, very different sound for an S2000. It's kind of becoming a more popular swap, though, Alex. It's an interesting build that Joel has done with that Myriad Motorsports team.
Yeah, I think when you start looking in power to weight classes, you go beyond. You can make the power you need to make with a number of different engines. So it's about how do you make the power band that you want to make that's going to be advantage. And those V6s give a nice fat power band that keep you in the power all the time. Get rid of that peakiness of the typical Honda engine.
Matan Rosenberg out of the car, off track safely, and trying to investigate to figure out what went wrong with that 484 car. Here's a good look at Eric Jensen defending from the 777 of Mike McGinnis, and Eric's had a troubled weekend this weekend just with looping that car a couple of times and getting kind of caught up in some traffic, but he's back up to 20th place. His son Jackson is up in 18th. We call him Jackson Maverick. He is a licensed pilot and just recently got his IFR clearance, so he's ready to fly. Here comes another driver ready to fly. That's James Houghton up the inside of Eric Catil for third place into turn one. Tight quarters here, but Catil in a very different looking front wheel drive build than Houghton's, but Catil has been doing a fantastic job defending this through the S's, which is such a challenging area to go through side by side.
Yeah, it really is, and the way he's able to hang around the outside of turn one there was really impressive to hold James back.
They did it side by side through one of the S's, but James had to back out, couldn't stick it there. Catil gave him plenty of space, but Curley has not really been able to reel in Jeremy Swenson. Last time by, they were pretty much dead even on pace. Go back to Zach Lavoie and now Hans Horpedal battling for position. That's about 14th place between the 77 and the 42. Again, Zach Lavoie, the winner of the bestest driver of the season at Heartland last year.
Yeah, Zach is one of the best guys in the paddock, absolutely loved by everybody. I know he has tons of family always watching these races.
Die win in the 888 BRZ, a spin out of turn number 20. He'll get back rolling. Doesn't look like there's any contact or things to worry about or be concerned with, as Waldbaum chases down the 99 of Ronnie Vidoc, who had a great start, has slowly slid backwards towards this battle for 7th now with the number 90. So about 11, 12 minutes into this race, I would fully expect a white flag next time by, but we could go another one. We went an extra lap compared to what we did yesterday this morning, as Jackson Jensen and Julio Crispin side by side into turn number 11, but up at turn 12, the leaders continue. Here's that battle again. Jackson and Eric, father and son, with the Julio Crispin 350Z right in the middle of them. Now really tight quarters out of turn 11. Almost a touch there, but now it's going to be a drag race down the very long straightaway. Crispin tried to slot in behind Jackson, but here comes Father Eric up the inside. There's Julio trying to get a slipstream, but Eric will deny that as he motors by in the LSFRS.
Yeah, let's see how much respect there is between father and son here. This could get pretty interesting.
Down into turn number 12, Eric pops out of line. Jackson's going to leave space for him. Julio's going to follow him through, door-to-door through 12. Jensen passes Eric, that is, passes both of them. Jackson now left to defend and play rear gunner for his dad as Crispin tries to take his number 911 350Z around. White flag waves. Jeremy Swenson's got 3.5 miles left to Coda.
Yeah, a little bit too much respect there, I think, from Jackson. Let his dad through pretty easily and then almost let the other car through as well.
So Jeremy Swenson leads by 1.5 seconds, about 10 car lengths over second place Paul Curley. The top three is unchanged from race number 2. Despite the rewards weight addition, Swenson has been able to hold that gap constant, and Curley, Catil, and Houghton are going to fight it out amongst themselves for second place, and a lot can happen in the final lap. We saw that in race 2. The way we started the final lap is certainly not the way we finished it.
No, and as we said at the end of race 2, you know, it looked like a pretty comfortable win from Jeremy when you looked at the timing sheets, but he was fighting and defending all the way through to the last half of the last lap.
Side by side, Julio Crispin loses a spot to Mike McGinnis. I wonder if Julio's got a problem. He's lost some ground as the 777, one of the 2 all-wheel drive cars in the field, that Impreza up the hill, the green and gray car. And this car on the brakes has been a bit of a struggle. He's locked up a couple times. So is Julio, for that matter. ABS not working great on either of these 2 cars, but through goes McGinnis and throttles down using all 4 wheels to accelerate down the hill and into the S's. Paul Curley's got trouble for the second place car. He pulls off line to the inside at turn 11. The second place car is stricken with an issue on the final lap. Again, we're going to have some late race drama.
Yeah, pulling in right where Matan had stopped there. Again, nicely out of the way, so he's not going to impact those cars behind him. But yeah, what a shame for him. Gary
Wimble and Luke McGrew battling for position. That's for inside the top 10. That will be a 9th place battle, though, with Paul Curley pulling off. So Swenson's gap, again, will grow, but now Catil and Houghton will be fighting for second place. Second step on the podium here for race number 3. Remember, we have that invert as well, so we'll have to consider that they will not start at the front for race number 4. Half a lap left for Jeremy Swenson to go 3 for 3 on the weekend, but it has not been easy nor predictable the way these races have ended this weekend.
No, I think you'll find this one has been the most comfortable of the 3 that he's led so far. I don't think he'll be counting his chickens yet for this race, but...
Second place, though, Alex. This is going to get good. James Houghton and Eric Cattell. Eric washes out a little bit to apex a little later in the carousel. Houghton is right behind him. Car length now 2 as Cattell's hybrid racing EG sticks to the road very, very well. Houghton's 2 car lengths back, now 1.5 back. Now he's 1 back, half back through turn 19. Cattell stays driver's right. Houghton's close, but he can't get up the inside. He's going to try to go the long way around on the brakes. Final corner. Jeremy Swenson goes 3 for 3 at Coda, but for second place, it's a drag race to the line. Cattell and Houghton side by side. Houghton gets it by a nose. James Houghton second place over Eric Cattell. That was very tight. Timing has it the other way around, but we do go to video at the stripe, so we will confirm that for you later. Gary Wimble and Luke McGrew are side by side. Those two buddies door to door to the stripe. McGrew wins that battle over Wimble for 9th place as they come across the line. Now it's Michael Hilo and Moore coming to the stripe for, looks like now 11th place. Andy Smedegaard will come home in 12th. Oh man, Alex, that was a good race and a great finish.
Yeah, we had a pretty good view of the finish line right out of the window here, and it did look like James just had a foot or two on Cattell as they crossed the line.
Yeah, so the reason why timing has this the other way around is because of different transponder mounting locations. Now, typically we'd use the transponders. By the way, we've got Corey Mitchell and Hans Horpedal battling to the stripe. Looks like Corey might get that one. Great run for a new driver here in the series. Adam Ulrich right behind. Brian Tyson finishes the race. But again, transponder location typically doesn't matter, but when you come to the stripe that close, we do revert to video evidence to place drivers. So we'll have to go back and look at it again. But James Houghton, to me, from the booth, looked like he beat Cattell to the line.
Yep, I agree. And like you say, if one of them has the transponder on the front of the car, so if Cattell has the transponder on the front of the car and James has it on the back of it, that can lead to timing and scoring and thinking that those cars were inverted, because all timing cares about is where that transponder crosses the line, not when the car crosses the line.
James Houghton up to 3rd, 11 spots gained after losing a wheel in race number 2. How about Andy Smedegaard, by the way, up 18 spots into 12th. Jackson Jensen up 13 spots in this one, but trouble for Wes Case as well as Paul Curley. Carl Hurdle had some problems in this one, and Matan Rosenberg. So Curley and Rosenberg really the two big surprises. Those 2 Corvettes, those things have been so reliable, Alex, but both of them with issues parked at turn 11.
Yeah, typically you think those big cars with the big engines, I mean, they're making a lot less power than they do stock. So it's not, these races are not stressing those cars and not stressing the engines like you would think a typical race car would be. So it's a little bit surprising to see 2 of them pull off in this race.
What an exceptional